Hi everyone, and welcome to my sewing room. Today is November the 2nd, Dia de los Muertos. I know somebody who has the name Rosemary Hernandez should be able to say that a little bit better, but it basically means Day of the Dead, and that's why I'm wearing this little sweatshirt jacket. I made this a long time ago, but it was really fun just sewing strips on a sweatshirt and then embroidering out the sugar skulls. Anyway, but what I thought we would do today is that we would give the laser on the Stellaire a try. I don't have a quilt that I want to do edge quilting on, so I thought it might be fun to take some polar fleece and just do stitching all the way across it and line them up and see how it comes out with some of the built-in edge quilting in here, and then maybe finishing it up with some 12 weight thread on my serger so I can show you how you can do that. It's kind of a fun technique on if you have a really good serger. So don't go away, and we're going to give this a try. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the embroidery part of my machine, and then I'm going to go into this new menu that's right here that has all the edge-to-edge quilting in it. And I was half tempted to do this one because it's kind of fun. It's got a sewing theme, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this one here. And this is a nice big kind of swirly pattern that starts at the top and the bottom, and that might make it even better for us to line it up the other way than you would normally think that you would line something up. I have the polar fleece in my largest hoop, and I have a stretch needle in there because I don't have two layers. I only have one layer of polar fleece, and it's kind of stretchy, so I want to make sure that it doesn't skip stitches while it's trying to sew through this one layer of polar fleece. So we're going to set that down, and then what I want to do is I want to move it so it's at the top here, but I also want this very first starting stitch that's up here on the top to be right on this center line of my grid. So speaking of grids, I do have a 1-inch grid set on this so that I've got this dead center in the middle. And if I push edit and move, I might move it just a couple of notches. Let's see if I push this. You can maybe see it a little bit clearer. And if I hit plus, this is where it's at the top up here. So anyway, so then what we're going to do is we're going to sew that out. And then when we rehoop it, we're going to use the laser to line up with this one. Right now we don't need the laser. We're just going to start sewing it. So I'm going to go ahead and push the go button. Put down. Well, first it would be nice if I hit embroidery, get a green light, and push go. Okay, so we sewed it out, and I rehooped it so that the design is up at the top. And what I did was I literally, let me see if I can do this so you guys can see kind of what I did. Okay, so I moved the camera. So you can see the edge of my hoop here, and you can see where the last of this embroidery is, and this is where that line stops right there. So, and give yourself a little bit of room. I went to the first notch here. That's on the edge of, well, you can't see it, but there's a notch on the edge of the hoop right here, and it goes across here. And that is where I brought the design in that far so that I could line it up with that line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the needle so that it comes to here by using that laser point. Okay, so here's my design. It's on the screen, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it where I was in the embroidery mode, and I'm going to hit layout, and here's my laser. And the very first thing it's going to ask me is, do you want to go up and down? Where do you want to line this up at? There's a blue dot that asks you where you want to line it up with, and I could pick any corner or the middle or the bottom or whatever I want to do. I'm going to pick the top because that's where I want to line it up with, and then I'm going to say next. Then it's going to give me a 1, and it's saying, do you want to line it up and down or sideways? So if I did this way, it would line it up sideways or line it up this way, but I want to go up and down like this. So now I'm going to hit next, and it is going to move the entire hoop up to so that the laser is right here on the end, and it is not lined up with my spot that I just showed you a minute ago. It's not lined up with it. So what I have to do is I have to move it this way. And what's really cool is it shines a red dot down here. I know you can't see it, but it does shine a red dot down here that's right on the edge of that point. So basically I just need to use these arrows that are on the screen and go up and over and over and up until it is right on that point. And sometimes I just turn the needle just to see if it hits right there, but that laser should tell me exactly where it's at. And if I go that way, it's too far, and if I go this way, it's too down. So I'm just going to leave it down. I think that's more like where I need it to be. Oh, let's try this sideways one. That works. That's going right into where my last line is. So I think we're going to do that one, and then I'm going to hit next, and it's asking me where I want my second point to be, and that's just in case I need to line it up with something else down here, but right at this point, as long as it's straight down, I'm good with it. I'm not going to change that, so I'm going to set that down, and then, oh, it's telling me the needle's down. I don't know why. And then I'm going to hit the foot down. I get a green light, and I'm going to sew that out, and I'll show you how well it lined up. Okay, so I'm learning along with you on how to do this. I have re-hooped this after doing an entire row, and I'm on the second row. And this is where my design actually stops, is right here. So what I need to do is I need to figure out how to put the laser. And one of the things I've learned in just the last embroidery is if I don't figure out the right size for my blanket, I am going to have a problem because it's not going to fit at the bottom when I go to size it. So I kind of have to do some math here and figure out. So what I did was I made this a little bit smaller this time, and then I'm going to hit the laser, and I'm going to, instead of having it up here at the top, I'm going to put it over here in the corner, the dot, because I want to line it up with the bottom of the stitching right here. So what I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to hit next, and it's asking if I'm going to go side to side or up or down. I'm going to go up and down. I'm going to hit next, and then it's going to show me moving my laser all the way up here to the top where that's going to sew. And this is where my design ends, is right here. So let me see if I can show you. This is where my design ends, and this is where the laser is, right up here. So I need to move that laser down here. So to do that, I need to push the arrows. See, and I want to line up, but I'm going to start up higher up this way, because in order to do that, I want to have enough room to finish this whole blanket. So I wouldn't advise doing this on your quilt, but it's probably a good idea for at least this part. And then when I hit next, it's going to move, and it's going to show me the bottom of the design, which is pretty much lined up with the edge right here. See how well that works? So let's set that down. Okay, so what I did was I did 3 rows. It's not really even big enough to be a scarf or a baby blanket or anything, but it's a good sample that I can use in the store to show what you can do with edge to edge. And also when I go and finish the edges with my serger, then it'll be a good sample for that. So that's where I decided to stop. So here's a picture of a little close-up of the way the two pieces came together. And you can see in this part I missed just a little tiny bit, but I don't think it was a big tragedy. No one's going to look at it that close on a quilt. And here's a picture of another one where I connected it, and this one it's almost overlapping, so you can see it's not perfect, but I'm not one of those people who has to be perfect. I just want to get the job done. And so this is a really easy way to use those lasers to do an edge-to-edge pattern, whether it's the one that's built into your machine or it's one that you purchased somewhere else. OASD has some really great edge-to-edge quilt patterns. If you haven't seen them before, go take a look at them. I think you'll really like them. And then, of course, there's other people out there who have done them, and you can create them yourself in the design center. So I'm going to stop right here, and then next week I am going to show you what I was talking about using 12 weight thread in your serger to get a really pretty edge on the edge of either a scarf or on a polar fleece blanket or something like that. I think it'll be fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.